you kind of talked about events. Dreamforce is coming up. We've been talking about it a ton with our partners. But outside of Dreamforce, you mentioned there's world tours, there's even like smaller community days and the towers and whatnot. Again, coming at this from the traditional AE perspective, yes, you always want to enable, but there's a lot of like, let me take you and your client out to dinner. Can you talk about how the most effective way to engage with solution teams at events and how that may differ?
Yeah, and dinner's great, by the way. But however,
Everyone has to eat.
everyone has to eat. I think I kind of touched on it a little before, but it's a little bit more of a tailored experience. We're really interested in the what of the solution, the how of the solution, and how can this help my customers.
Mhm.
And if it's a solution that can help my customers, it will help me in the end. So as I said, maybe we're talking about this now, but maybe there's an event at Dreamforce, at World Tour that's just for solutions. Maybe there's an event at your booth, right? And making it fun. Um, you know, Obviously talking about and demoing the solution, but bringing in that community of solutions engineers to really talk more technically about the solution. And what's interesting, if possible, another cool thing I've seen done is multiple partners together having an event for the solutions team. Yeah. So,
Mhm.
and then you can say, A plus B or one plus one equals three. And if we go in with partner A and partner B, here's the thing we've talked about together. Um, and I've even had really great sessions, very, very small group sessions, just bringing together three or four, five different solution engineers and just having a very intimate dinner and conversation versus sort of, hey, show up and play pool at, and have a bunch of drinks and maybe there'll be a presentation in the background that no one, some people watch, but not everybody will watch, right? But having a really sort of tailored, if there's an account specifically that you want to, reach out to and, find that solution engineer that covers that and bring them and a few other solution engineers, in adjacent accounts into a very small sort of group setting and having a conversation there, right? Again, because it's not about the ACV, it's about the solution. So we actually do want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah. Just to be really tactical, I think, going back to your booth conversation at Dreamforce, even if you don't have a booth, which, many people maybe don't, but you have meeting space, having that individual outreach of we're having a SE specific demo at 10 a.m. on Tuesday. We'd love for you to come. You could do some incentive kind of thing. I think that that's so smart. Um, Talk to me about what the SEs are doing at events, i.e., managing the Salesforce booths and how they would best way to engage with them at those booths.
Yes, I can give the best way and the worst way, but the best way to engage with them at a booth is to make their lives easier, right? So we generally the solution engineers cover in each specific obviously industry booth. They have 4 hour plus shifts. Obviously, this is a place where our customers come to learn about the new products and what we're demoing and what's new and what's cool and everything else. It's a real challenge in the month before Dreamforce to build all of this, make sure it works. Obviously, the week before, you know, please demo, don't break while I'm, demoing on the floor of Dreamforce and really don't break when Mark Benioff walks by and I'm presenting. So, one of the best ways to interact is either before or immediately after um, the booth shift or the session starts, right? So they generally say 8 to 12. And obviously you can just find out from the solution engineer, hey, what time does your shift end? And bring them a nice cold soda or water or something because they've been talking for 4 to 6 hours straight. So they need a little bit of a break, but they're actually really appreciative of just, hey, here's a bottle of water or something. I saw what put the conversation in context. I really saw what you're demoing. That was very cool. that was a really neat flow that you had there. Pretty interesting. We have similar solutions, that might help you, right? So bring that into that context of work. Um, but yeah, come to us, usually before or after the shift, when we have a little bit of time. I think the challenge, um, that I see is the what not to do is come during the middle of a demo, or at some point, where we are focusing on customer success, right, and our customers. And I hate to say it, I know I'm on this call, partners second, right? Customers
Yeah.
first. And so, and this is maybe a little bit of insight. I mean, that is something that is driven home from all of the internal, Dreamforce communications, right? We're here, you're showing your best, be on your best behavior outside of Moscone Center, but also, focus on customers first, right? And it comes into, obviously partners are second, but sometimes I'm pulled into conversations with someone who has a really good solution when there's a very major customer I'm talking to that's right next to them, and I have to ignore the customer because someone's pulling me in. I have a really great solution for you. And I'm like, I really would love to talk to you, but I really would like to talk to my customer first. So just be cognizant of that, I guess is what I'm saying.
That's a really good call out for sure. Um, okay, so final question before we move on from this. Say I meet you after a break, we have a great conversation, Dreamforce comes and goes. Now what? Do I email you? Do I find you on LinkedIn? What would you suggest is the best way to nurture and build those long-term relationships with the
Yeah,
solutions team?
great questions. I mean, obviously, so email is the worst way to do this. We get lots of emails. Because here's the thing, we do a lot of badge scans. We are going around looking at all these different solutions. We are, that is in the back of our mind, right? We're thinking about our customers and we're thinking like, oh, these guys have a really cool solution, right? So we will swipe our badge at many different booths at Dreamforce. And we'll get a lot of emails afterwards.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
so we will forget those emails. We cannot remember the context. We knew we were at a booth and we knew we swiped the badge and we didn't understand why. So the best way is ideally through Slack, right, with a bit of context, um, or through your PAM, right?
Mhm.
That can help create that connection. Um, frankly, yeah, I mean, I think those are the two. But if you can get in through Slack and communicate with us in Slack, hey, remember we talked in Dreamforce? That's the way we communicate at Salesforce internally. Sometimes
Yeah.
I don't log into email for days at a time.
You and me
But
both,
then,
but that gets me
yeah,
into trouble.
exactly. What's me too? But not everybody uses Slack, as we know. Um, and then, I mean, and frankly, even mailings are good. Sometimes mailings are pretty solid, honestly, because they happen so rarely that if you ask for an address, or get an office location and send a reminder, a follow up, or again, this is not it's not a tchotchke ask, but it's a reminder of, hey, this is what we talked about. Here's some material. Here's that shows up on your desk, and you're like, oh, I get a million emails a day, but I actually think about PFL, but I don't get a lot of print literature. Or I don't get yeah, sure. It could be, hey, I know you didn't pick up your free thing at the booth. Here's what we were giving away. Thanks for visiting. Just a reminder, this is what we do. So
Love
there's
that.
different ways to stick out. Yeah.
So really being creative about how you're having these communications to stand out, because SEs are no different than anybody else in the world. Their inboxes are completely flooded. LinkedIn is full of spam. Slack is the way to the heart. That should be their new tagline.